The tarmac shimmered in the heat, jet engines roaring like thunder across the airfield. "Ma'am, civilians aren't authorized past the red line," the air marshal barked, stepping in front of her. The woman stopped mid-stride, sunglasses reflecting the silver wings of the fighter jets lined up ahead. She didn't argue, she didn't explain. She just smiled, the kind of calm, knowing smile that unsettles soldiers who have seen too much. Then a moment later, the radio on his shoulder crackled, a crisp female voice cutting through static. "Tower Control, this is Valkyrie 1, requesting clearance." His blood ran cold. Because that was her voice. If you enjoy gripping, emotional stories like this, make sure to subscribe and share to support more true-to-life tales of courage and redemption. They said she wasn't supposed to be here. They said her wings had been grounded long ago. But for Captain Lyra Dane, call sign Valkyrie 1, orders had never meant much when lives were on the line. The base at Andrews Sector 12 was in chaos. A foreign test drone had malfunctioned, veering off path and heading straight for civilian airspace. The alert had gone out 20 minutes ago, and every available pilot had scrambled, except the squadron commander, who was down a jet after a hydraulic leak. Lyra had arrived quietly, without clearance, her old uniform jacket folded over her arm. The guards didn't recognize her. Most of them were new recruits, too young to remember her name whispered in flight circles years ago. Once she had been a legend. Then one mission had ended it all. A mid-air collision during an interception exercise had cost her co-pilot, her younger brother, Lieutenant Jace Dane. The investigation had cleared her of wrongdoing, but she'd walked away from the Air Force the next morning, leaving her call sign behind like a ghost. Now she was back. She moved toward the hangar, calm, determined. Her hair was shorter now, regulation cut, her eyes hidden behind dark aviators that didn't quite disguise the haunted determination beneath. The air marshal followed her. "Ma'am, I need you to leave the flight line immediately. This area's restricted." Lyra stopped. Slowly, she took off her sunglasses, revealing the unmistakable steel-gray eyes of someone who had spent a lifetime reading wind, distance, and death. "I'm not a civilian," she said quietly. The marshal frowned, opening his mouth to argue, but the sudden buzz of the radio cut him off. "Control, confirm emergency pilot response protocol. Valkyrie 1 online, ready to intercept." The marshal froze, his hand instinctively going to his headset. "Say again, Tower." The voice repeated, calm, confident, unmistakable. "Valkyrie 1, requesting immediate clearance for vector intercept." And in that instant, as the woman in front of him pulled her jacket on, revealing a faded squadron patch marked Valkyrie Squadron, he realized the voice on the radio wasn't coming from the tower. It was hers. "Captain Dane," he whispered. She gave a faint, grim smile. Not a captain anymore, just someone who still remembers how to fly. He hesitated. "They grounded you." "They grounded my badge, not my wings," she said. "And right now your pilots are outnumbered and undertrained. I can help." He stared at her, torn between protocol and instinct. Before he could answer, an explosion ripped across the distant sky. A drone had just struck one of the decoys. Lyra didn't wait. She sprinted toward the nearest jet, a two-seater F-22B waiting in standby mode. The crew chief shouted after her, but she was already climbing the ladder, sliding into the cockpit like she'd never left. Her fingers moved across the panels from muscle memory, switch, throttle, ignition, comm check, fluid and flawless. "Valkyrie 1 to tower, activating override code Delta 7, she said. "Transmitting clearance under Section 9 emergency authorization." The tower went silent. For a few seconds, only the hum of the engines filled the air. Then came the voice of Colonel Reeves, the base commander, old, gravelly, and stunned. "Lyra Dane, that's you." "Last I checked," she replied. "Good to hear your voice, sir." "God help me," Reeves muttered. All right, Valkyrie 1, you're cleared for intercept. Bring our birds home. The jet roared down the runway, engines flaring white against the asphalt. Within seconds, she was airborne, a streak of silver slicing through the clouds. Below, the air marshal stared after her, still clutching his headset, half in disbelief. Who the hell was that? One of the younger techs asked. He exhaled slowly. That, he said, was the best damn pilot we ever lost. Above the clouds, Lyra's breathing steadied. The sky had always been her truest home, endless, unforgiving, beautiful. Her radar pinged. 2 drones, armed and hostile, closing in fast toward the capital zone. She adjusted her throttle, banking hard left, the jet slicing through sunlight like a blade. Control, this is Valkyrie 1, visual on targets, engaging. The first drone broke formation, its guidance erratic. She aimed, fired a short burst, the missile streaked and hit dead center. The explosion bloomed golden against the sky. Splash 1, she said calmly. But the second drone dove, locking onto her radar. Its signal jammed and the cockpit lights flared red. Missile lock, countermeasures active, she muttered, flipping switches. Flares shot from her wings, scattering heat signatures. The drone veered but didn't disengage. Her comms crackled. Valkyrie 1, you've got 2 bogies heading your way, vectors 095. I see them, she said, eyes narrowing. Stay on frequency. As she dove lower through the clouds, her mind flashed back to the last time she'd been in this position, the last time Jace's voice had filled her headset. Left wing, Lyra, pull up. She had pulled too late. The sound of the collision, the scream of tearing metal, had haunted her for years. Not this time. Lyra locked onto the lead drone, the target reticle glowing red. Her thumb hovered over the trigger. Come on, she whispered, just one clean shot. The missile launched, trailing a plume of smoke, striking the drone mid-turn. The second one tried to evade, but she was already there, throttle up, cutting behind it, closing the distance. Good night, she muttered, firing again. The sky erupted in a twin flash. The drones were gone. Tower, this is Valkyrie 1, she said, her voice steady but soft. All targets neutralized. The comms erupted in cheers. Reeves' voice broke through the noise. Damn fine flying, Dane. You just saved a few thousand lives. She exhaled slowly, eyes fixed on the fatting smoke. Just doing what I should have done years ago. The tower went quiet for a moment. Then Reeves spoke again, voice gentler. You can come home now, Lyra. You've earned it. She smiled faintly, though he couldn't see it. I already am home, sir. The horizon stretched endlessly before her, sunlight breaking through the clouds, glinting off her canopy. She turned the jet toward base, the hum of the engines a lullaby she'd missed for too long. As she descended, the flight line came into view, crowded now, crews waiting, soldiers saluting. The air marshal stood front and center, his earlier authority replaced with quiet awe. When her jet touched down, the runway vibrated beneath the weight of applause echoing through comms and open channels. She shut down the engine, pulled off her helmet and climbed out, wind tugging her hair loose. The marshal stepped forward. Ma'am, Captain Dane, he said quietly, welcome back. She smiled faintly, exhaustion and peace mingling in her expression. Thank you, but it's Valkyrie now, just Valkyrie. Reeves approached, his old eyes wet. You always were, Lyra, you always were. The base's flag fluttered above them, catching the golden light of late afternoon. Around her, the younger pilots looked at her with something like reverence, because legends weren't just names in manuals. Sometimes they walked among them. Lyra turned her gaze skyward once more, whispering to herself, maybe to her brother, maybe to the heavens. We did it, Jace. The wind carried the words away, lost in the roar of jets and the hum of life returning to the base. And though she didn't see it, the air marshal watched her closely. The way she stood against the wind, the sun catching her flight patch like a flame. Some heroes didn't come back for glory. They came back to finish the story they started. If you believe in courage, redemption, and the strength it takes to rise after the fall, don't let this story fade. Share it, subscribe for more cinematic tales that remind us what true heroes look like, the ones who never stop fighting, even after the world forgets their names.